Laura Ingalls Wilder was born in Wisconsin in 1867. She was a pioneer, a teacher, a farmer's wife, a mother, and an author. Today, people think of her as someone who helped preserve America's history in an interesting and entertaining way. Lots of people have enjoyed her books and the television series that was based on them. Throughout Laura's childhood, her father Charles Ingalls and her mother Caroline Ingalls took her and her sisters Mary, Carrie, and Grace on a series of treks over America's prairies, searching for a place to establish their family. Sometimes they were looking for a particular job for Pa, or a lot of game animals to hunt and sell, or land to farm and call their own. Sometimes Pa just thought there were too many people around. This is the order of their travels, from Pepin, Wisconsin to Independence, Kansas. From Independence, Kansas back to Pepin, Wisconsin. From Pepin, Wisconsin to Walnut Grove, Minnesota. From Walnut Grove to Burr Oak, Iowa. And back to Walnut Grove. From Walnut Grove to De Smet. When Laura was married, she moved to Spring Valley, Minnesota, to Westville, Florida, and finally to Mansfield, Missouri. Traveling that much was very grueling. They traveled with 2 horses, a Conestoga wagon that held very few belongings, some food, a gun, Pa's fiddle, and their dog Jack. Time seemed to drag by slowly. They experienced many hardships and adventures. Once they almost lost their dog when they were crossing a high river. One time they narrowly escaped falling through ice. There were also Native Americans, wild animals, and horse thieves to avoid. But most of the time it was very boring. Just prairie grass and blue sky as far as the eye could see. Laura Ingalls was a petite girl. Her pa liked to call her half-pint, but she was adventurous. Her sister Mary was a more calm and ladylike girl. Ma was always very busy. And Pa had a great sense of humor and liked to tell stories. But what Laura really loved is when Pa would play his fiddle. One day, Mary got scarlet fever, and sadly she became blind for the rest of her life. Laura dedicated herself to becoming like eyes for Mary, telling her everything that went on around her. Maybe this is how she got her ability to describe things so well. Laura attended a series of one-room schoolhouses on the prairie and eventually took a job as a teacher herself to pay to send Mary to a special college for the blind. She didn't enjoy teaching as much as her mother, Caroline, had, but she felt it was her duty to help her family. While the Ingalls were living in De Smet, South Dakota, Laura met a kind and hard-working man named Almanzo Wilder. After 3 years of courtship, mainly buggy rides, they were married on August 25, 1885. In 1886, they had a daughter and named her Rose. After that, Laura's life was once again on the move and filled with trials and hardships. There were several failed attempts at farming, a barn and a house burned down, Laura and Almanzo got diphtheria, and they lost a second child when he was a baby. Eventually, they settled in Mansfield, Missouri to grow apples. Laura and Almanzo had many happy years there until Almanzo died in 1949. When Pa Ingalls died in 1902, Laura realized that she wanted to write about her and her family's lives as pioneers so that future generations of people would know about it. Her daughter Rose helped a lot too. In 1932, her first book, Little House in the Big Woods, was published. It was the first in a series of 9 books about her life. They are still very popular today and can be found in almost every library in America. Laura Ingalls Wilder accomplished many things in her life. She settled land as an American pioneer. She taught children's school on the prairie. She sent her sister to college with her earnings. She became a beloved author. And she preserved a part of American history for us before she died in 1957. I think Laura was a great American who loved her country, and her books can help us remember a time when it was wild and free.
What did he say? Okay, Sabrina.
Yeah?
What happened today when we tried to start filming?
Well, we went to this really nice place, and just as we were about to start, we saw a police officer driving down the road, and he came up and he stopped us from filming there.
Why was that?
'Cause the lady who owned the property said she doesn't want people on there.
Yeah, so what should we have done beforehand that we didn't do?
Ask
Yeah,
if we could go.
yeah. So what did the police say we were doing?
Trespassing?
Yeah, we were trespassing.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
good.
So that was our bad.
Do we have to pay a fine?
No,
Thank you.
and we didn't get arrested either. But we learned our lesson, and anyone else who, might be making a school project film might want to keep that in mind.
Yes.
Yeah.